You're listening to High Frequency Healing on the Superpower Up podcast, the show that explores the awakening of superpowers through higher dimensional healing.
Hello, this is AngelaMaría, one of the Superpower Up hosts, and you're listening to High Frequency Healing Show. The only difference between where you are to where you want to be is the actions you take here and now to heal your life. Please, let's take a deep breath and be here and now. I invite you to enjoy this time together. So here we go. Let's welcome Keira Poulsen to my show. We will be talking about healing through chakra manipulation. Keira, a mother to 5 beautiful kids, is the author of the book, The Hidden Gifts Within the Trauma of Sexual Abuse. She is an intuitive, energetic healer. Her core belief is that everyone is a healer, and I love that. She created a digital course called the Awaken course. In this course, she teaches you how to understand the different chakras in your body and how to heal them in a daily practice. Keira believes that when we awaken the healer within ourselves, we awaken our divine selves. Please join me to welcome Keira Poulsen to my show. Welcome, Keira!
Thank you so much. I am so honored and so privileged that you have me here today.
Oh, you're so nice. So let's start this asking you, what's your healing superpower?
So my healing superpower is that I have the ability to actually hear what is stuck energetically inside other people's chakras when I'm working with them.
Yeah. This question about chakra comes later, but I want to ask you right now, Keira, what's a chakra?
So I'm going to admit that I am not the most educated person about chakras. I just feel them. I know them. I hear them. And so this answer may not be what you find on Google, right? But this is my own experience with chakras. And it's these beautiful spaces in our body that we hold energy. And in each different chakra is connected to different emotions, different pieces of our body are held in these chakras. And what happens is that these chakras, if they are fully aligned and they are flowing and the energy is moving, you get really fantastic results in your life. And when these chakras are stuck and they're dirty from trauma and pain and all the things that life gives us, we get results that we don't want. So that is what a chakra is to me, and that's how I experience them when I'm healing in them.
And I love that explanation about chakra, because it is exactly what you found with different words. And I love something specifically about what you just said. When they are aligned, they create the results that we are expecting from life. Yeah. Because that, I would say, is what really makes us conscious creators, having our chakras aligned. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Keira, would you please take us back to your early years and name one memorable life lesson that is useful for you today?
So one life lesson from my early years is I was a survivor. So I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. And there's so many lessons for me in trauma. Trauma is strangely one of my greatest gifts. And I'm always so grateful for that trauma because it made me become a seeker. And when you're a seeker, you find things. And that it led me onto this beautiful path of healing. And it led me to find out how I could heal my own pain, which then awakened the healer inside of me and allowed me to now be able to help others heal.
Keira,
yes.
You know what I love about what you just said?
What?
That you pronounce those words about, I am a survival sexual abuse with love and compassion. And when you can see that as a blessing, as an opportunity, is when the healing really, really happens inside you, in your cells, in your blood. And that is what creates the miracle of being aware that for some reason, I create this situation for me to be able to learn and empower my own power.
Oh, so true. I so feel that. Yes.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, because I know most of our listeners, and I would say everybody in this world, we have to heal something in our lives. And it doesn't matter if it comes from a no that we didn't accept, or from a cancer, or from a sexual abuse, or for whatever reason. It doesn't matter how deep or how simple could be. That little experience in your life is creating a blockage, is limiting you. And when we can see it with love, when we can see the blessing behind, is when we create something different and more satisfactory in our lives. So, wow, I love this. Thank you so much, Kiera. This was powerful. I feel the energy of what you just said.
Oh, thank you. What you said was so beautiful. I so believe that. And that's what I like to tell people a lot. Like, maybe you didn't have the same trauma as me, but trauma is trauma, and trauma creates an opportunity to heal.
Yeah, I love that. Exactly. So, Kiera, where can people go to find out more about you?
So I show up every day on Instagram, just as my name, Keira Poulsen. So if you want to know more about my message and really just about what shows up for me every day, I speak a lot through Instagram. I also have a book on Amazon that they can locate. It's very simple. It's so easy. I love Amazon. It's called The Hidden Gifts Within the Trauma of Sexual Abuse. And also I write articles for medium.com. So if they want to go and read some of my articles, I place a lot of articles up there, and just love to share just the insights and whatever I feel impressed to share with the world. That's where I put it.
Thank you. So
I have one more thing. I just forgot.
Go ahead.
I am launching a podcast February 23rd.
Oh, nice.
So excited. Yes. It's called the Awaken Podcast.
Perfect. The Awaken Podcast. So guys, many places where we can hear more about these powerful women. And we've been talking with Kiera about healing through chakra manipulation. When we come back from this short break, we're going to talk more about her healing superpowers. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/thenet to learn more.
We're back, and you're listening to High Frequency Healing Show. Today, we are talking with Keira Poulsen about healing through chakra manipulation. Kiera, was there a burning bush moment that made your heart desire changing your path in life?
I believe the moment that really changed my life was when I decided to deal with my trauma pain. So I had felt this pain most of my life, but I was really good at running. I was really good at aiming to be perfect. I think that's one of the biggest ways to numb trauma, is to just try and be super, super perfect. And I really thought I could outrun it. I thought I could outrun the pain. But a few years ago, there was an incident in my life that actually woke all of that pain up. And it was extraordinary. It was literally the deepest level of pain I ever thought I could experience. So much so that I really considered taking my life. It was so deeply painful. Mm-hmm. And yet in that moment, I chose to reach out to God. And in that space, I made a commitment where I would do what I was meant to do here on this earth if I was going to live. And from that moment forward, truly, it has never been the same. So I would say that was a very huge awakening for me.
And I'm so glad, because we need more people like you in this world. We need to make a huge movement of light and transformation. So thank you for that pain that now allow us to experience your work and your mission.
Thank you.
So Kiera, what is to be an intuitive, energetic healer?
So for me, an intuitive, energetic healer. So energy healing, I was trained in it, right? So I was trained. I have a background and knowledge of how to do energetic healing. But the intuitive part is, once I started to do this healing work with people, I began to understand that I could feel what they needed done. I could hear the things that were stuck inside their chakras. And so I'm intuitively guided through each person, meaning every session is different. I never know where we're going to go. I never know how it's going to end up. I'm just very guided and directed in the work that I do. And it's very intuitive for me.
So would you please tell us about your book, The Hidden Gifts Within the Trauma of Sexual Abuse?
Yes. So I never planned on writing a book. I got married really young. I went to massage school and became a massage therapist and never went to college. So there was always this, voice in my head that was like, you could never write a book. You've never been to college and all these things. Yet there was a moment in my life where I knew there was a book to be written. I knew it was my calling. And so I prayed every day for 2 weeks. Okay, God, if I'm supposed to write a book, show me the book. And 2 weeks later, I'm driving down the road and I see this book in front of my eyes in my spiritual vision. From top to bottom, I see the title, The Hidden Gifts Within the Trauma of Sexual Abuse. And I see this beautiful image of these hands with this plant growing out of them, which is the cover of my book today, if you were to see it. Mm-hmm. And I was so scared. Like, how could I write this book? And yet it just beautifully came forward. And I feel like it was so guided and directed. And the main purpose of this book is to help people see the gifts that are within trauma and how to process it. So each chapter has a full journal section afterwards. And I walk you through the questions that you need to ask yourself. And because I know that's really painful, I even made a digital course for people to watch while they're going through the journal section so that they can have a little bit more support. And my deepest belief is that the more of us who wake up from trauma, who awaken our brilliance and our healing, the beauty will abound. Like, it's just this beautiful vision of so much light and so much joy and so much connection. And that's why I wrote the book.
So I would like you to explain a little bit more about, so your digital course goes with the book. It's not something that people can access separate.
Well, so I have lots of courses. I love to create things.
Nice.
So I have the Hidden Gifts course that goes with my book. It's a totally separate course from the Awaken course. And the Hidden Gifts course just allows people to watch me as I walk them through their journal sections, give them insights, and more than anything, support. Because I've had a lot of people who start my book and they say they get really stuck in their pain. And I realized I've got to help people be supported in that space. So I created the Hidden Gifts course to be like a companion to my book, but it's separate than the healing course that I've recently created.
Got it. And why do you think that at some point people get stuck in the pain? Why is it so hard for humans to move away from the pain?
So this is so interesting. And I believe it's because we're just trained that pain is really bad, right? When we're young, if you touch a hot stove, you're taught, like, don't ever touch this again, and you won't have to feel that pain, right? And there's some real safety issues that it's important that we understand that. But it gets muddled and it gets messy when it comes to our emotional pain. So when emotional pain shows up, we have this reaction that we've got to numb it, that we got to disconnect, that we got to move away from it. And then what happens is we get stuck, because pain, when you can move through it, I like this visual of pain being like a wave in the ocean. Mm-hmm. If you were to jump against the ocean with a boogie board, this huge wave, you're going to get thrown way back. But if you can let the wave take you forward, you move with ease. And that's how pain is, right? When we can let pain move us instead of fighting against it, we actually move forward and we get some real action in our life.
Metaphor about the waves, because that is exactly what happens in life. Every time that you want to fight, every time that you don't accept something, every time that you just try to avoid, that is another way of fighting. And fight just drains our energy. And when we are in low energy, we create more about exactly what we wouldn't like to experience in life.
Yes, so true.
So how can we heal the chakras? Because you are talking about trauma. And before, when you were giving the explanation about what a chakra is, you said it's also a space that holds emotions.
Yeah.
So if we are talking about trauma is usually, I would say always, related to emotions that were trapped for a certain kind of experience that, of course, wasn't a nice experience. And so how can we heal the chakras? And when we heal the chakras, how does it happen that we can just move that energy that is stuck due to that trauma caused in the past?
That's such a beautiful question. So I guess I have to just preface this by saying, as I've worked with so many people in this healing work, I got really stuck because I realized I can do healing work with them, but they can't be here every day. And they need to learn how to do this on their own. So I was really driven to create a practice that I could teach people how to go into their chakras every single day and heal them. Because we could heal them, but guess what? We live in the world every day, right? Like, we're not on a beach sipping a drink every day. We're not getting affected. So this is a continual practice. This isn't a one-time experience where you get to heal your chakras and then you're set for life. It's something that we have to do every single day. And so I created a practice called the Awaken practice that people can learn through my course how to go in, clean up their chakras through a very simple breathing and meditation program, and then infuse them with light. So one of the biggest pieces that I see when I'm healing chakras is that I clean it out, but then it must be infused with light. And it's the light that actually takes the broken pieces and mends them. It's the light that restores them to function as they were created to function. So it's a hard thing to share right here, how to heal it, but I definitely go into depth in my course on how they can go in, learn about the chakras, first of all, and then heal them on their own every single day.
There is something I want to highlight about what you just said, and it's exactly what has been my experience with the Akashic Records. And people need to learn how to do it because we are healers. We are our masters. We are the divinity in ourselves. And every time that I need to go to look for the keys outside, when I really left the keys inside, I'm wasting my energy. I am wasting my time. And I love that you are in this path of teaching people and help them to realize how powerful they are and that they can lead these processes inside themselves. Of course, they need a person like you or like me to guide them, to show them the path, to light up this road that is not always easy. But at the end, who really needs to take that power back, who really needs to take the action in within ourselves is each of us, is each of you who are listening. It's not always the best option to look for somebody out there to give the answers or come heal me. No. Why we don't just look at ourselves and see those broken pieces and put them together? So thank you so much, Kiera, because besides all what you have said that I really admire and honor, what I really, really admire and I blessed is the fact that you are in this path of helping people to be the leaders of their own spiritual path.
Oh, thank you. That's so beautiful.
So Kiera,
yes,
what has been one of the most beautiful or powerful process you have guided? Because believe me, touching trauma is something really deep, and especially when that trauma is related to sexual abuse. That is touching our more deep selves, our deep emotions, and it's also touching our power of creation. And when that trauma is installed, it can just ruin all our lives. So guiding people, holding hands with these people who are going through trauma or who were living in trauma and for some reason they hide it and avoid it for a while, is a miracle. It's a miracle to be able to go to the other side, look back and say, hey, that was awesome. I'm so glad I was able to walk that path and be on the other side. So just think about what would be a good story here to share with our listeners about that process.
That's so hard. I've really been thinking about this. And I would have to say just my own experience of healing inside of my body, going through all the different chakras and walking this path of awakening my own divine self has been so profound. And also being able to guide others. So that's something that I really love. I love to be able to go in and do healing work with others and then have them have these beautiful realizations. Like they get the experience of seeing the truth and seeing the truth about themselves and awakening up the remembrance of their divinity. That's my most powerful experience, is when people can leave my space and remember like who they really are, like the divine selves, not who we are stuck in our bodies, but like the magnificent, brilliant souls that each one of us are.
Mm-hmm. Kiera, I always been curious because, of course, I work with a lot of, especially women, and most of them are Latin. But I would like to ask you, how easy is for people not just to understand, but to embody that divinity that you have mentioned before in all of this process?
How easy? Say it one more time.
Like, part of my experience with this process of helping people to understand that we are divinities, and because we are divinities, we are powerful and we have the power to heal ourselves. That is one of the facts that I mentioned about you before in your bio. And my experience with these people is that it's hard for them to really believe that. It's really hard for them to understand that what I'm doing with them, they can do it and even better because it's in their own body. It's just giving the divinity inside the power that divinity is already, but for different reasons, we haven't been able to see it, to feel it, and to experience.
Yes.
So how is that process with the people you have worked with? How easy is for them to embody that divinity?
Right. So I believe that it is our belief systems that make it really, really hard for us. It's actually a struggle. I have a lot of students who struggle believing that they can do this, which is why in my Awaken course, it's a 12-week course and I offer 12 full coaching sessions. So once a week I meet with my students, and that is where I believe the magic happens. Magic occurs when you have support and community. breaking belief systems that you're not a healer, belief systems that only other people on the outside can help you. It's tricky and it's hard. But once you have a community and a safe support system, then it becomes easier. And then you're able to see, oh my gosh, this person has been doing the practice every day and they're having results. That means I can try it. I don't have to be some crazy special person. Anybody and everybody is a healer. Anybody and everybody can do this work. And once they feel that safety and that support, it seems to awaken the belief inside themselves. And once they have an experience with it, when they start to see the results, that's when it feels easier for them to step into the divinity that is within themselves.
Could you please repeat what you said about when the magic happens?
Yes. So I believe the magic happens when you have support and a community in which you are safe, when you are heard, when you are seen for that divinity. And that's what I really like to create, is I want to create these spaces where people can be seen and heard for their divinity, the light, the brilliance that's within them, which awakens it even more. So that's where I believe the magic really happens.
It's so powerful what you just said. And that's part of the reasons why I love this show. Because we need to start moving away from the idea that the only one that could heal me is somebody else. The doctor, the shaman, whoever I believe has the power. Because when I realized that I am the owner of this body, this temple, and the owner and the powerful being that lives in this temple, in this body, and who can really manipulate the energy inside me is just me, is when I really go back and say to that divinity, I open my space and my life for you to be able to embody who I really am. And you mentioned something about your course that I think is very important for people who are listening, because after all of this conversation, they may think, oh, wow, that would be so cool if I can learn how to do all of this. So could you talk about that course, please, Kiera?
Yes. So the Awaken course is something that I so love, and I'm so honored to teach it. And what it is it's a 12-week digital course. So everything's pre-recorded. You can watch it whenever you want. And you get one class every 7 days. And I do that so that you can learn about one chakra and then do the Awaken practice on only that chakra for a full 7 days before you move on to the next chakra. So what I do is in each class, I teach you about the chakra, and then I teach you the practice of how to clear it out and how to fill it back up with light. And it's a 10-minute practice because I know that everybody's busy. And so I wanted it to be something that everybody could fit into their life. Mm-hmm. And so this is what, and obviously we're not doing 12 chakras. So the end of the course is more about what I kind of like to call recipes, right? Like I get to say, hey, if this is a result you want in your life, then you want to work through these 3 chakras, right? And so it's kind of like the fun dessert at the end where I get to show you, hey, when you want to have more financial freedom, let's work in these chakras. When you want to have more relationship freedom, work in these chakras. And I kind of get to play around and show you how I access my chakras to get the results that I'm wanting. So that's the whole course. But then for those 12 weeks, you get to come to 1 hour of a Zoom call. So it's like where we all see each other, and I get to go in deeper, where you guys, each student gets to talk to me about what they're struggling with, and then I can help support them as well as give them a community of people.
That sounds very interesting. And this is the thing. We have all the tools in our body. We need to learn how to use those tools.
Right.
That's simple. So thank you so much for doing that, Kiera. So let's suppose that I am not quite sure right now to be able to jump into that empowerment world. But I would like to start this healing process. Could you share with us 2 steps or 2 tips for anyone to do it?
Yes. So I actually have a link that I'll give to you where people can click on it and they will get my meditation practice. Now, this meditation practice is a shielding practice that I do every single day. I shield myself up with light, clean myself out with the light, and really it's such a beautiful way to begin every single day in a space that is clean and also infused with light. So I will share that with everyone because that's something they can all do every single day, and that in itself will make massive shifts for them. Mm-hmm. The second thing, and I learned this when I was in my energy mastery. So this is not my stuff, but this is something I learned that I will teach you guys because it is so profound. And it is the experience of cutting the cords. So I'm sure you know this, many people know this, but some don't. And what it is that everyone walks around life and we're picking up everybody's energy. And we don't even know we're picking up everybody's energy. And what happens is then it's almost like we're this very staticky dress. And pretty soon we have like a sock stuck to us and a rag stuck to us, right? Like, can you see that image a little bit, right?
Yes.
This is what happens energetically is pretty soon we're carrying the neighbor's stuff, the woman at Walmart who threw a tantrum, and we're throwing everybody's stuff. We're like carrying it. And so what I like to do is that I like to cut my cords, which means you take your hands and you just cut the cords, energetic cords all around your body, like as if you have all these lamp cords connected to you. You're going to cut them off. And this is such a beautiful way to just keep your energy clean and to also disconnect you from anybody else. And that's just not in your best interest, right?
I like that one. I love it.
Yeah.
So Kiera, let's remind listeners where they can go to find out more about you.
So my website is a really great place, KeiraPoulsen.com. If you go to my website, there's a place to sign up for an email learning about my podcast. There's also a place to sign up to learn more about the Awaken course. And what I like to do there is I like to jump on a Zoom call with people for 15 minutes and just see if it's a great fit for people. So I like to get to know my students before they even enroll, and they can figure that all out on my website. They can also look at my book on my website. So it's a really great source. And also if they want to just follow along with me on Instagram, I'm very, very vocal there. And it's just a great place to stay in the momentum of wherever this work is taking me. And then they'll also know more about my podcast from my Instagram because that will be launching very soon.
Awesome. Kiera, thank you so much for sharing your healing superpower with us.
Thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I could talk like this all day long. It would be the fun. So I just want to thank you for having me. I'm very honored.
Thank you. Yeah, I could just talk about this all day long. So thank you for your time. And thank you all of you for joining us today. I am AngelaMaría, Conscious Creation. Change actions, shift energy to live heaven down here on earth. And I see you next time. Bye-bye.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the superpower quiz today.